So welcome everyone for joining today. And good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are. We hope everyone is remaining safe wherever you are. And in case we have any new listeners here, SLN would like to welcome you to this webinar country update series. We've traveled across the snow leopard range over the last 6 months. We started with China, moving to Mongolia, Nepal, India, and today we're arriving in the Russian Federation and traveling to Siberia. These webinars have highlighted the remarkable diversity of snow leopard contexts and conservation approaches, sharing ideas that could be applicable across the range. And it's also great to see how teams are using the latest science, the latest conservation approaches, and it really builds an important corpus for new experience. So without any ado, let's hear from our latest update from WWF-Russia team. So WWF-Russia's snow leopard conservation program has focused on the Altai-Sayan Eco-region, which borders closely largely with Mongolia. You might have seen in the recent PAUSE summit, they showcased a video about their toolkit in collecting data on the ground. And I'm sure we're going to hear more about that today, hopefully from Alex. So we have the great pleasure of introducing you Alexander Karnaukhov, who is the Senior Project Coordinator for WWF Altai-Sayan office. Alexander has been taking snow leopard conservation monitoring approaches further and has achieved a large coverage of the region, which is feeding into some of these global conservation and research efforts. We also have Tatiana Ivanitskaya, who is press officer for the Altai-Sayan office, and she will be sharing a little bit more with us about snow leopard conservation communication work that the team is doing across the range. So with that, as previous webinars, our guests will talk between 30 to 35 minutes, and Alexander will first present, and then Tatiana will present, and then we'll move into questions and answers. So during their talk, feel free to write into the chat and we can answer them after both of their talks. So I think over to you, Alex and Tatiana. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Justin. Hello, everyone. My name is Alexander Karnaukhov, and I'm working on Altai-Sayan office of WWF-Russia. WWF-Russia has been working more than 20 years in Altai-Sayan Eco-region. It is a unique high mountain ecosystem with very high level of biodiversity located in southern part of Siberia, nearby borders with Kazakhstan, China, and Mongolia. There are two flag species in our office, and one of them, of course, is the snow leopard. So today, we are talking about the snow leopard in the Russian Federation. As you all know, Russia is a huge country, and the range of the snow leopard is very big there as well. It's stretched along the border more than 2,000 kilometers, and the main part of that is adjacent to Mongolian border. Snow leopard range in Russia is the northernmost snow leopard area in the world. All our snow leopards face a very hard weather conditions. Besides high altitude, there are very high snow cover, very low temperatures, and very low density of the prey-based species in snow leopard habitat. So it's a very hard to reach area. So we spend a long time to move to snow leopard territories. But for snow leopard, it's very good because it's a main reason why the snow leopard is still alive in Russia. To identify snow leopard habitat, the Maxent modeling was done. As you can see in the map, snow leopard habitat in Russia is very fragmented and isolated. There are 12 snow leopard subpopulations, and we are working in 10 of them on a regular basis. The total area occupied by the snow leopard is more than 60,000 square kilometers, but the key habitat is estimated in 11,000 square kilometers only. Today, the total number of the snow leopard population in Russia is at least 65 individuals. Here are some pictures illustrate snow leopard's life in Russia. In, in winter, everywhere is snow, very deep snow cover, and we can do nothing without snowmobiles, skis, and other special transportation. And as I said, it's very remote area without any infrastructure and without human. So we have to live in tents in -30 or -40. So our experts are really strong persons. Yes, everywhere is snow. It's a white silence. And of course, the snow leopard also lives here. As I said, there are many natural threats for the snow leopard, such as snow and low temperatures, but human impact is much higher. And what are the main threats for the elusive cat there? The first is illegal snaring. In this remote area, there are no jobs for locals, and many people have to live through exploitation of the natural resources. And one of these directions is hunting on musk deer. In main part of snow leopard area, musk deer included into regional red data books, so hunting on that is prohibited. But it doesn't stop anyone. Mainly to catch the musk deer, wire snares is used, and these snares set up in mountains, including snow leopard habitat. Unfortunately, ranges of snow leopard and musk deer are overlapped very much, and these two species use the same territory and path. Therefore, many snow leopard died in the snares beside the musk deer. The first snow leopard captured by camera trap in Altai died by this reason. It was a female called Vita with her two cubs. To draw attention to this problem, we installed statue for this female in Koshagach city, the snow leopard capital of the Russian Federation. Also, small snow leopard subpopulation in Sayano-Shushinsky Nature Reserve was destroyed in total due to that illegal snaring. Here, the last female of this reserve died in 2014. The second threat for the snow leopard in Russia is a low abundance of prey species. The main prey for the snow leopard in Russian Federation is Siberian ibex, and there is only one stable ibex population in Russia, in Argut River watershed, which is homeland for biggest snow leopard subpopulation in our country as well. Human-wildlife conflicts is an issue only in Tuva Republic. To solve this problem, we are working with herders, educate them, strengthen the corrals, install electric fences, etc. Besides that, we are involving local people in snow leopard monitoring and conservation. Some camera traps in remote areas checked by local people only. For example, in Okok Plateau, the unique high mountain ecosystem in the border with China, Kazakhstan, and Mongolia. Here are some pictures from this area. And here are some people working with us. To conserve the snow leopard, the National Snow Leopard Conservation Strategy was prepared and approved by the government. But unfortunately, the major part of activities on snow leopard monitoring and conservation is initiated and funded by WWF. Now our office is the lead organization on snow leopard conservation, and all coordination between stakeholders is carried out by WWF only. And what are the main stakeholders? First of all, of course, protected areas. Salugensky National Park, where the biggest snow leopard subpopulation lives. Besides this national park, many activities are implemented by Utsunurskaya Kotlovina and Altai-Sayan Nature Reserve and by Tunkinsky National Park. Also, there are some regional protected areas. There are very few non-governmental organizations involved into snow leopard conservation. Beside WWF, there are two of them, Argali NGO in Altai Republic and Asia Irbis NGO in Buryatia Republic. All analysis of the fieldwork data are carried out with our colleagues from Russian Academy of Sciences. What does WWF do to conserve the snow leopard? We are supporting protected areas, involving local people, developing small business in local communities, reducing human-wildlife conflicts, carrying out snow leopard census, organizing and providing training for our staff, and there are the results of this work on this diagram. Snow leopard subpopulation in Argut River Basin, destroyed in early 2000s, is increasing now, and it's a big success of our work. As I said, total number of the snow leopard in Russia is at least 65 individuals. Here, more detail. Every year we observe some snow leopards broods, and that gives us hope that the snow leopard will survive and our children will be able to see them. The second part of my presentation is about the snow leopard monitoring program, which was developed by WWF-Russia in 2017-2018. The traditional snow leopard survey faced a lot of problems. There were a lot of mistakes on handwritten forms, and we had to exclude a big part of field data by this reason. Here is a small illustration. All these forms were used in the past, and it was very difficult to fill it correctly. To solve this problem, we developed a special application on Next.js platform. It's a cloud service which stored all field information gathered by our experts using the application. The app gives us an information exchange channel between all smartphones switched to the project and server. The application works offline with many offline maps and also record all tracks in detail. All this information is private. You can set up and access rights for all experts separately. Of course, it's easy to use. And last year, a special analytic module based on presence algorithm was developed and integrated into the platform. So now you can analyze all your data by one click. How does it work? You should download the app from the Play Market, sign up on Next.js official site, and work. Here's some screenshots of the app. There are a lot of maps. You can add all JS layers what you want into mobile application. For example, polygons of the protected areas or anything else. There are a lot of forms for any kind of field work. In Russia, more than 30 observers use the app in snow leopard monitoring. Now there are more than 3,000 observations in our snow leopard project. All field forms are stored as attributive table in the server. You can synchronize all your data and tracks gathered offline when you reach internet access. All data is personalized, so you know who makes the observation you're interested in. Also, you make a photo. It's very important to verify data, for example, verify correctness of snow leopard footprints identification. It's very useful and user-friendly platform. Next.js has a collaborative version of QJS called Next.js QJS. By the way, you can download it from Next.js official page. And this version has a special plugin called Next.js resources, which make possible to get information from the server directly to QGIS. So you can visualize and analyze your data quickly. And as I said, there are two analytic modules. You can use it on Next.js toolbox page. It's free. IRB statistics tool automatically recalculates all waypoints on kilometer of the road. Next.js presence tool provides you presence calculations of all your data. And besides that, this tool also gets all your data, waypoints, tracks, transects from the server and convert it as shape file. In conclusion, I would like to show you some photos of our snow leopards. And now I give the floor to Tatiana Ivanitskaya, press officer of our office, to tell you about communication activities related to the snow leopard conservation in Russia. Tanya, please.
All right, thanks, Alexander. If you are finished, so I will just give you a quick overview of what WWF does for the communication, or we call it conservation communication in the region. As you've understood, we work from the region, not from Moscow, but from Altai-Sayan Eco-region, quite close to Mongolian border. And actually, if it's hard to understand, it's southern Siberia. Yes, Siberia can be southern, truly. And as we are located close to Mongolia and Kazakhstan, and 4 countries are included in the ecological region, we work on the eco-regional level. So mostly we combine the efforts of Russia and Mongolia and Kazakhstan and a bit of China. If we look at the slide, you'll see the words at the top. This is our vision, the communication vision for the whole ecoregion. What we need, we want people to aware of the significance of the ecoregion, including snow leopard, recognize its threats, and be empowered to act and to act. When we speak about Russia or Siberia in particular, what animal comes to your mind? I guess it's not snow leopard. It might be a brown bear, and especially for Siberia, the same for people in Russia. Brown bear is the symbol of Russia. And I'm not sure how many people in Russia know about that snow leopard really exists. We only have 2% of the world population of snow leopard here. But still, those people who live in Russia, they can help fundraising and they help conservation actions. But our efforts mostly target the local communities, because local communities are quite often a threat to snow leopards, because they poach the animal, they poach their prey species, and we want to target them, what we call conservation communication. If you look at the slide, fundraising is the second important pillar, because we need money for that. And our communication have to work for fundraising. And branding is very important, because we need a WWF image to be strong, to be trusted by the people, local people, parties, authorities, and business. And if you look at the pictures on the left, you will see the picture of a musk deer, not a snow leopard, at the top picture, because this is the species that is caught by snares as well. So snaring mostly not only targets the addressed to snow leopard, but also to its species like musk deer that are caught by poachers, and the snow leopards also get into the snares. And we use different, the next slide, just to show you how many tools we use for branding and profiling. The international media to tell everyone in the world how beautiful Altai-Sayan Eco-region is, how this fantastic charismatic species is, and that we want to save it. We use different online tools from YouTube, WWF websites, social media, different international platforms, and of course, offline activities, especially to target the people who live in the remote areas, the hard to reach areas, in some places where the population density reaches up to 1 person per square kilometers. They only can have online activities or offline activities to raise their awareness. The next slide. There is quite a hectic slide just to show you the different meetings that we have, international meetings we participate, the international media that cover the stories from the field, from the WWF-Russia is involved, and that's how we share it with the others. The next slide. There are the tools also for communication and fundraising. Number one, here you can see the portfolio of projects that we upload on our website for fundraising. So we both raise awareness and get money for that. Number two, there's a specific website that we have for WWF-Russia developed for those who are interested in snow leopards. If your child wants to have an essay on snow leopard, he can just go to our website and he will find anything from footages to infographics and anything we just want to share with the others. Infographics, and number four, footages. These two people are Russian celebrities. You might not know them, but believe me, they're the celebrities. So we took them to the roadshow last year to Altai, one of the key habitats of snow leopard. So we went through, they participated in the field activities, they volunteered, And now we're promoting this film very widely online for people to also fundraise and raise awareness. Number 5, it's the online meeting that we do just like this one, and for business partners, for authorities, for local people, also to raise awareness. Of course, for the last year, it's been one of the most important communication tools for us. And number 6, the 3 girls, one of them is a donor. So we we try to involve people, not only to raise awareness, but involve them in any kind of events that we have, and make friends with the stakeholders, with the decision makers, involve them very deeply. The next slide. Here are some tools also we use to target the local communities. The stature, number 7, stature of a snow leopard. This is a story, a very sad story of a family of snow leopards killed by poachers, right in the region, in the district where the statue was built. We had a discussion where we have to put the statue in a capital city, because that will bring us more awareness. We will benefit from more branding opportunities. We decided to put it in a remote mountain area to show the people who live there this story of a female snow leopard called Vita and 2 her cubs who were killed by poachers, and they were found in snares, they died in snares, and for people to have this reminder forever. Number 8, you'll see exhibitions that we call snow leopards and hero people that protect him. Also, offline activities for the remote areas. Some sport events got really popular. People like sports in the villages, in the rural areas. And we try to use any opportunities to join the already existing events to introduce the conservation agenda into that. That's why we save money and raise awareness and conservation. And 11 is one of our important tools. That's a festival. We call Snow Leopard Festival, where the children participated in it. Next slide. Here are some specific things that we use, like local celebrities, very local, very regional, that people trust. In Republic of Tiva, you can see some indigenous people participated in our video activities, and the religious leaders, community leaders, like this one in the middle, this regional Buddhist leader, Kamba Lama of Tiva. He did not only was a hero, a character in our video, but also he addressed to the people of Tiva, to Buddhists, to save a snow leopard. And with this appeal, we printed different calendars, different posters, and distributed all over the area for the people to use them in their yurts and their jars. The next slide. And to partner with the governments, it's very important. Here you see 4 regions, on a regional level. We've made agreements with the governments of 4 regions, and 3 regions. Well, 4 is pending, but it's coming soon. And there is one Russian-Mongolian Joint Commission on Environmental Protection. That's like overall umbrella organization that we use to discuss conservation issues on an international level. Next slide. Here are some figures on numbers. WWF likes numbers. On the left, you can see how the number of participants of our key tool, Land of Snow Leopard Festival, has grown from 2010 to 2019. So the event that started from a little small event in a mountain village with 70 people has grown up to an international event that includes Russia, Mongolia, and Kazakhstan, and is very welcomed everywhere we have it. And on the right, you can see how the reach of national media has grown up for the last 5 years. So we try to push this, our conservation agenda. Next slide. Here is to show you that the program that Alexander mentioned, the program of involving of local people who volunteered to monitor the snow leopard independently or with the help of the regional inspectors or rangers. Here we can see that this story was so interesting that it got attention of international media. And on the right, the top picture, you can see Mergen Markov, one of these local people who was awarded by the non-official title of the for those people who make small contributions every day for like a bigger thing. He was awarded like the Man of Russia or something. And here you can see this guy on the left at the top picture. This is his father actually, and he killed 9 snow leopards. We know it for sure. And in the moment, in the past, in the Soviet Union time, long ago, and now at the moment he helps his son to protect the snow leopard. This is what we want to reach. We want to change their minds year by year, day by day, but somehow involve them into conservation and using this method change their minds. The next slide. And here to sum up, as I've told you already, Russia and Mongolia have to work very close because it's an area, it's a mostly a transboundary area. Without our efforts or joint efforts, the conservation of snow leopards is very hard because they migrate from country to country. We try to monitor them and to have communication as well. Things like International Snow Leopard Day, Land of Snow Leopard Festival, different eco schools when people come from Russia to Mongolia and back, joint communication things and as well. This year was the first year when none of the teams traveled there and back, but we still have a lot of online activities together and we will continue. This is actually the brief presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. Yes, next slide. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexander and Tatiana, for the really interesting talks, and you guys covered a lot of ground in that short 30 minutes. So I know we're going to have a lot of questions, and I already see one coming in, but if anyone has questions, please start writing it in the chat, and we'll start taking them. But before that, I just wanted to start with Alex. Just one, you mentioned a few threats during your talk, but what, including snaring, including other threats. So I was wondering, what do you think are the more emerging threats to snow leopards face in the future in this area?
I'm sorry, Jason, could you repeat?
So you mentioned many threats, including snaring. And what about in the future? What threats do you expect to become even stronger for snow leopards in these regions?
Climate change will be more stronger than now. Compared to nowadays, now it's not a big issue in our area, but will be. And probably human-wildlife conflicts, because population of livestock is increasing everywhere in snow leopard habitat, especially in Tuva Republic, and there will be more conflicts between snow leopard and hares. And probably infrastructure problems. There are a lot of projects on mining in snow leopard habitat.
Thank you, Alex. Yeah, so I think similar to Mongolia, right? There is a lot of emerging mining coming into the area and infrastructure. And so we have already some questions coming in, and there's one from Nilufar, and it's again related to threats. So I think for Alex and Tatiana, feel free to add as well. So do those snaring, or is it mainly used for the prey, for musk deer, for example, or is it mainly used to catch snow leopards? In terms of what are the poachers trying to catch?
It's used for catching the musk deer mainly, but some people can set up snares for snow leopard. And besides musk deer and snow leopard, some snares set up to regulations of wolf abundance. And it's a problem in some areas in Russia with wolf.
Okay, so it's normally they're caught in bycatch, because more global research also suggests that a lot of the killing of snow leopards is from retribution killing, right? From conflict. Is this the case? Is there a lot of conflict killing currently going on that could be linked to this poaching?
Excuse me.
No worries. I was just wondering, globally, the WWF or the traffic report with Ricci and others developed were suggesting that around maybe half of the killings of the poaching was also retribution killing, people who lost livestock and then were killing the snow leopard in response. Do you think some of this poaching is also related to this? Or is it mostly driven by pelts when it is for snow leopards?
Yeah, there is the same problem in Russia, but only in one region, in Tver Republic. I mean, it's retaliatory killings.
Okay, so it varies. So Nilufar also has asking if you can share any threat mitigation methods that have been done so far, and any threat mitigation methods that you could mention specifically, she's asking. Perhaps a little bit more about your community conservation work.
Tatiana, probably you can answer.
Well, it's about the mitigation that we have, the methods that to address the threats. Well, I think Russia's methods or conservation agenda or conservation activities are very similar to those that people address elsewhere in the world. Mostly we try to use anti-poaching activities, and as an NGO that can accumulate funding, we then provide this funding to the governmental or volunteer brigades that patrol the area to fight poaching. As we've told already, snaring is the main threat. Sometimes we even we donate money to those teams that especially eliminate this threat of snaring. Snaring is very common in very remote areas. Snares are forbidden in Russia, in the habitats of the big cats, in the forest, in Russia, and in the Caucasus. Snaring is forbidden completely. That's why if people absolutely understand that snaring is illegal, they still use it, because the remote areas and the people who live in they have no other source of income. This is poverty, and the low level of livelihood is the reason for poaching, of course. So the next step WWF has been implementing, it's the kind of to raise livelihood of the local people activity. We tried with our business, when we had a business partner, it was a City Foundation of Citibank, an international partner. We tried to implement the idea of providing people with the loans to open the business, the small business, the very sustainable business like souvenir making or tourism, ecotourism, or green tourism, or agricultural tourism. And we had a project for 5 years that made the contribution. And WWF was the first organization to pilot this approach to the people in the remote areas, try to teach them how to actually, I don't know, provide tourists with towels, some very simple things that people had no idea about. The tourism development, it helped somehow. It helped people to have another source of living. Actually, addressing some threats like industry development is not a key issue, because this is a minor threat for the areas that we work in. There are some areas that are threatened by the future or coming industry development projects, but not that I don't know, it's not such a big threat. So mostly it's poaching, it's retaliatory killing by people of a specific area that Alexander mentioned, Republic of Tver, where people live the life of their ancestors. They still have this cattle breeding habits like they have years ago, hundreds of years ago. And we have programs to provide them with electric fences, helping them monitor the snow leopards, some insurance scheme that we tried to introduce, which were not really effective because the areas are very remote. It requires good specialists to understand whether it was a snow leopard or the wolf, and for the people themselves to have connection at least, or to reach to the expert quickly. There were some obstacles that we actually had. And the climate change issue is just coming. It's not very threatening. That's why we're just starting to make some assessment in this field. And probably it's the issue we have addressed it less of the others. Alexander, if you can add something, you can add.
No.
No,
Thank you, Tatiana. No, that was very comprehensive. I think there's a lot of interest on understanding these threats. And I see another question from Gustav, which relates to the threats, asking about low prey populations. And I'm wondering if what are the key threats to ibex and other ungulates in the region?
As I said, the main prey species is Siberian ibex. Besides the ibex, there is a small population of Altai-Sayan argali, which is living in transboundary area between Russia and Mongolia. It's a real transboundary population, and we provide survey in international survey in this transboundary zone. And of course, red deer, roe deer, but it's occasional prey species. But because ranges of snow leopard and Siberian ibex is totally the same, and these two species live in the same habitat, conservation of Siberian ibex is the main direction for us because it's the main snow leopard prey. And argali sheep is the prey for snow leopard only in southern part of Altai Mountains in Altai Republic.
Thank you, Alexander. And are your teams conducting surveys of prey in those areas? Annual monitoring as well as the snow leopard populations?
Yes, we provide census of argali sheep once per 2 years, and this year we try to count Siberian ibex population in Altai Republic, but it's under process now.
Thank you. Thank you. And then I see another question that I think relates to the question related to climate change. There's a question from Chloe Warrant, and she's curious about the Actru station and wondering, apart from the Actru station, what other weather stations are there in the area as where you guys are working? Do you have any comment, response for that?
Yes, there are some weather stations in Altai-Sayan Eco-region. It's located in each settlement or small city. So there are a lot of climate data in the Russian Federation.
Okay, thank you. And there's another kind of statement or thought from Arishwarya, and is asking or saying that poaching cases have gone down in Russia in the past. So do you have any thoughts to share maybe with everyone of how poaching cases have changed over time in the last maybe 20 to 30 years?
Excuse me, I don't know.
I can answer. This is the question about the poaching itself. I think some of you might know that when the Soviet Union, if we speak about the last 20, maybe 40 years, when the Soviet Union collapsed, when the system was collapsed, the system of conservation organizations as well, there was a huge rise of poaching elsewhere, everywhere, especially in the places, the rural areas where people had no jobs, almost no food. They had to feed on forest and mountains. And that's the period that the experts call the period when the snow leopard population has gone down. And according to the survey, according to what the local people say, that was the time when you could easily buy a skin of a snow leopard on an almost kind of a legal market, because no one even tried to hide it. It was easy. But for the last 20 years, the poaching cases has been very rare. I think there was only maybe 1 or 2 officially reported cases. Unfortunately, we know about unofficial cases when the police found, for example, the police finds the snow leopard skins and they don't even report on that because for some reason wildlife crimes still are regarded to be of less important than, I don't know, illegal guns or drugs or whatever, killings. And in Russia as well, still. Or another reason that so the police don't get very, I don't know, praised for that. They just don't even report on that. And for the last 5 years, I think there has been only one case of selling a skin of a snow leopard. And I think the skins mostly come from the other side of the border, right? From Mongolia, Alexander. And this is the reason, well, it's actually very hard to track because we can hardly track the unofficial amount of skins circulating. But official cases has been very rare, but we still consider that there might be 1 or 2 cases of poaching of snow leopard, mostly bycatch or retaliatory killing in the area. But this is just unofficial data, right? Alexander, anything to add? Probably.
The last case of snow leopard poaching, official case, was this year in May or April. It was in Barnaul airport. It's nearby snow leopard habitat, sitting nearby snow leopard habitat.
Thank you, Tatiana and Alex. I see another question by Abdul. We have so many questions. Your presentation has incited a lot of interest by our participants. So another question by Abdul. He's surprised that only WWF is working on snow leopard conservation and said that the government is not contributing. And why is this the case? So do you have any comments? I know the government is very interested also in tiger conservation. Are tiger efforts, for example, supporting snow leopard efforts? That's a question I also had that I wanted to ask you guys.
Government is working on snow leopard conservation only in protected areas, supporting it, providing them budget, and that's all. All other activities, snow leopard monitoring or field data analysis, analysis of climate change impact, all these activities are provided by WWF.
Thank you. Anything else to add, Tatiana?
Well, actually, snow leopard, yes, Amur tiger is an absolutely different story. It's the species that has got attention of government, of the high-level ranking officials, as well as forest and leopard, these 2 species who inhabit the far east of Russia. They have been well promoted by WWF and the other organizations, but it's not the same for the snow leopard because the resources to promote snow leopard are quite low. It's not. If we talk about Amur tiger, there are the number of non-governmental organizations, international, regional, or national, that donate money to conservation. For snow leopard, well, I think it's like worldwide. Tiger is much more like visible for the others, and we have only 2% of snow leopard population for Russia. That's why the attention of the international NGOs also is less here in Russia. For example, in contrast to Mongolia or China or the countries that have bigger population of this rare species. Of course, WWF has played an important role to make government pay attention. At the moment, we're working at the monitoring program to make it official and officially approved in Russia, as well as WWF has initiated the developing of snow leopard national strategies. There has been a couple of updates since it was first developed, and we're gradually trying to raise awareness on snow leopard conservation. But it's still, snow leopard is one of the, I'm not remember, 5 key species for conservation, like in Russia, like polar bear, Amur tiger, snow leopard. But these species, they get their attention differently. So the snow leopard has not got a lot of it still, but we're working on it.
Thank you both. So here we've got a few set of questions coming back to climate change. So another question from Chloe that's asking if there are any projection modeling made for where snow leopard range shifts may take place at the regional level in Russia.
Yes, we have some studies on climate change modeling, and I can share this research. You can send me a message via email and share it.
Sure. Yeah, Chloe, if you can send Alexander an email or send us an email, he can send you some reports. But from what I understand, in terms of global level assessments, Russia will be less impacted than the southern ranges in terms of shifts. Is that right?
Yeah, you're right.
And another question related to climate change is from Gustav. He's asking, what do you think are the main consequences of climate change? New and more dominant species coming in, decline of prey, or something else, or potentially even change in human actions in the area, human behaviors, livelihoods? Any thoughts on how climate change might shift the ecology, but also the human side of the region?
Well, all of these items, especially degradation of habitat due to climate change and changes in ungulates, ranges.
Related to ungulates range
Yes.
and change. Yeah, and precipitation, is there likely to be a change in weather patterns and participation? Do you know if any of this data, any initial data on this? At the moment, or it's unclear at the moment?
It's unclear.
It's unclear. So Chloe, so Gustav and Chloe will share. I think Alexander has that report that he'll share with you. But this is, as Tatiana shared, this is the subject that has been least looked at by the team, right? But obviously has importance. Anything else to add?
Climate change is not a big problem now in Russia. So we just starting our activities on assessment.
Right. Is starting to assess and research it, understand it more. Thank you. And then we have another question from Feng Shu, and he's interested, he's saying, thank you for your really interesting presentation. And he's from Xinjiang, China, and he wants to know more about snow leopard information related in the border area with Xinjiang, and if you have anything to share about that.
Yes, so we have a lot of information on snow leopard habitat in transboundary zone between Russia and China because we install some camera traps in this area, and we check these cameras few times per year. And now there are only 3 or 4 individuals who live in this area because it's very remote, very remote area with high altitude and very low abundance of ungulates. So only just 3 or 4 individuals. And unfortunately, our colleagues from WWF China are not able to provide this kind of story in Chinese part of southern Altai. So we have not any information from Chinese side of this region.
Thank you. No, that's really interesting. So that comes back to a question. Tatiana shared how the different WWF teams are coordinating to support communication efforts and funding efforts for transboundary conservation. So Alex, do you, in terms of the effort on the ground, is there coordination, especially with Mongolia, on the camera trap layouts, sharing of data, you know, the collaring efforts, for example, and looking at that between Russia and Mongolia or Russia and Kazakhstan? Is there coordination between teams?
Yes, there is a very very good relations with our Mongolian colleagues and with colleagues from Kazakhstan. We carrying out our survey in transboundary zone in collaboration with Mongolian colleagues. And now the transboundary project on snow leopard monitoring initiated by MIASPEC, and we provide this survey in 2 sites, one of them in Altai Mountain, Tikhachov Ridge. It's a transboundary mountain ridge between Russia and Mongolia, and the second one is Eastern Sayan Ridge. It's a northern and eastern edge of snow leopard habitat in the world. And next year we will prepare a report for this project, and also I can share it.
Thank you. No, that would be great to share. And we have another question. So I think we have 5 more minutes. So if anyone have final questions, please feel free to write them in the chat. I see one more question. And please, if we didn't answer one of your questions from early on the chat, feel free to repeat it. I'm sorry if we missed it because there was so much interest in questions. But there's a question from Chaksa, and she's asking you, what is trophy hunting of prey species takes place in Russia?
Trophy hunting in Altai-Sayan Eco-region is prohibited for rare ungulates, for argali sheep, but trophy hunting is provided on Siberian ibex, and it's problem for us because many foreigners, many people who don't live in this area hunt on Siberian ibex, and local people hate them because it's traditional livelihood for these people, and they cannot hunt for this species.
The problem with trophy hunting in Russia is that the trophy hunting legislation is very weak. It's not well developed as in the other countries, like in Mongolia, for example. Then the local communities benefit from the trophy hunting in the area, and the local people themselves, they're interested in a well-developed, well-managed and monitored trophy hunting. In Russia, trophy hunting is a kind of a more or less a legal activity when local people themselves who want to earn money on that, they work as the guides for outsiders, for people who come from other countries or from European part of Russia. They hunt, they call it trophy hunting. They pay much money, they get a good trophy, but it's not like real trophy hunting that well managed and legal like in the other countries. That's a big discussion going out in the Russian society, whether it should be legal and well managed or it should be stayed like this. And WWF has its own position, but it's still a very question to discuss. It's a quite hard question.
Thank you. Thank you for that explanation and for answering all of those previous questions. I see we don't have any other questions coming in the chat, so I don't know if there's any last thoughts that Alexander or Tatiana you would like to share with everyone. Any last thoughts related to snow leopard conservation in Russia you would like to share? Over to you, Tatiana, first, maybe.
Yes, well, I just want to thank you everyone for this interest, for this charismatic species that I'm sure is the best big cat on earth, this big grape-like eyes. And I think we have to stay in touch. And as you understand, Russia has a lot to share. Please feel free to ask us. We have 2% of world population, but we still a lot of things, yes, to share, to tell you, and please feel free to ask.
Thank you. And Alexander, any last thoughts to share with our participants?
I don't have any.
Thanks. So I think everyone's very interested in a lot of the publications you shared, so we'll try to share with that in the near future, so everyone can hear more about that work. But thank you so much, everyone, and thanks to everyone for joining us today, and a special thank you from Alexander and Tatiana for streaming in from their regional office all the way in Siberia. It's great to have you here and us to connect with different range countries, different conservationists across the range. And as our speakers both shared, the Russian Federation only has around 2% of the global snow leopard population. However, and it represents the northern fringe of snow leopard populations. And as our speakers highlighted, it cannot be a population that is neglected, even though it's small. The same, as we heard, the same conservation and research frameworks apply, and they can be, used elsewhere as well. So we have a lot to learn from also the work in these areas. And as they have highlighted, it's research, it's public opinion, it's politics, it's community conservation that all come together. And these all need to be seen as a whole for the conservation of snow leopards. So let's close today. And I just want to let you know that we hopefully will be traveling to some of the other snow leopard range countries, other areas that also have a smaller population of snow leopards. And if there are teams out there amongst you and that would like to speak, please do get in touch with Reki because we'd be happy to host a webinar from other countries we have not heard from already. So without any ado, thank you so much, Tatiana and Alex. It was such a pleasure to have you here and learn about these efforts.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Justin.